Okay, so I figured I would make another video, hopefully a little bit shorter, video of how to set up the original avatar to animate, how to replace the old human IKs for the original avatar, because the Bento avatar is a little bit different than the original, and so I figured I'd do it just real quick. So I'm going to activate the original female. And of course, if you see the famous blue spaghetti, you can always come here and go to Display, Animation, Joint Size. Lots of people see this when they first load MayaStar, because this is the default, like one of the default settings. Yeah, that's like the default setting. So anyway, it's just a display setting. Okay. So, although I might change the size of this because it just makes it easier to select it. So, when we're doing what we need to do. So, okay, so next thing you need to do is go MayaStar, Animation Tools, and Animate Original Female. Okay, and then once you're here, you see these lovely, I don't know why they're orange in one video and they're sort of brownish. Anyway, these controls that are the old-fashioned human IK are really horrible. You have to remove them. You can't even create a keyframe. I'm going to create a keyframe and then delete the keyframe without things going horribly wrong, and it doesn't even delete the keyframe. So now I'm going to Control Z to get out of it. So that's why you do not want to use these controls. These controls are absolutely horrible. And so, okay, so you open up your outliner. You can come here to, Human IK, number 1, and you just hit the delete key, and voila, it's gone. Okay, so big difference between Bento skeleton and the original avatar skeleton that Second Life had, besides the number of bones, is in MayaStar, as far as when you're going to animate it, I used 3 skeletons instead of just 2, and there was a whole reason for it. I don't quite remember, but there was a reason to doing it that way for the Bento skeleton. And so this skeleton is just slightly different. So yeah, it is just slightly different. So we're going to get this set up here. So we're going to turn off the real skeleton that you've rigged to, and leaving only the animation skeleton. Okay, so we're going to apply the, I call it the animation skeleton. Here's the avatar skeleton. That means the skeleton that you're actually rigged to, and this is the skeleton that we're going to actually animate, is this one. Okay, so what you want to do at this point is, let's make that a little easier to see, the individual bones, by increasing the joint display size. Okay, so now that you've disconnected the old controllers, what we want to do now is we want to go to animation. So I'm already on animation, but go to animation, go to skeleton, human IK. And it's a different system of human IK than the old one that MayaStar was using. And we're going to define the skeleton. I'm sure if you've watched my other videos, you know about this. We're going to double click on the spine, and because this skeleton is a simple skeleton, we can just click here to select the pelvis, although it's named hip in this particular skeleton. One of the things about the skeleton, you notice this uses a lot of different names. It uses mainly the traditional BVH names for things such as hip abdomen, chest, neck, head, and then it uses other names like L collar and L shoulder, you know, those, and L forearm and L hand. Those are BVH names. And so anyway, so it gets a little confusing. And of course then I had to put in, because not all BVH doesn't have a lot of doesn't have all the type of bones that the Second Life avatar, even the old original avatar skeleton. So I had to add these other names. So, but you don't really have to worry about them. We're just gonna click it. We're gonna do it from here. Actually, I messed up. I clicked on the. Oh yeah, I already did this. I already did the. Oh, I messed up there. Clicked on the wrong one. I Control Z to get out. I was supposed to click on this one. Double click on that one, and then select the hip bone or the M pelvis. What would have been the M pelvis? And then we'll do the double click and select the what would have been the M torso, but this is called the abdomen on this skeleton here. And now we've got to do the spine, which is really the M chest. We've got to do that. Click the lowest one. Then we got to do the neck. Double click. And come here and click on the neck. And then we'll do the head. Click on the head. And although, so don't worry about it. It's figure hair, that's a BBH type thing. Okay, now we got to do the collarbones. Okay, now you notice it didn't switch over to the other side. That's because the way these are mirror matching. That's very interesting. Okay, I thought it was the bone hangs. Let's undo that and let's turn on mirror matching. Wait a minute. Is that the way it does? No, it still didn't match it. Okay, I thought somebody said something about turning off mirror matching. It didn't, as far as I can tell, it didn't mirror match that. So, okay, let's Control Z out of this. Let's see if we can't. Okay. I thought there was a way to turn on mirror matching. This must be a way, but okay, maybe it is on and it's just not recognizing the other bone. It must have to be do with the way the bones are labeled. You would think you would understand L collar to mean left collar and right collar, but I guess it doesn't. So double click on it, select. Go to the select tool so we get rid of the arrows, and now we'll do the upper arm or shoulder. But you notice it didn't do the matching like it does with the Bento skeleton. It must have to do with the names of the bones. It's not quite recognizing the names, so we got to do each one. But luckily, we don't have to do all the fingers, so it won't take that much longer. Okay. Double click on arm, and we did do the shoulder already. No, we didn't do the shoulder already. There we go. Or the shoulder, yeah. Okay. Sorry, Dad. This is the shoulder and this is the forearm. Okay. And we're almost there. Double click. Click. Double click. Click. Now this one did match because it's using a name on the feet that it recognizes. I guess when it sees the word left on the end of it, it knows that it must have a matching one on the right. So, but these don't. Okay, and we got the green light there, which means it's ready and ready to go. So now we can come over here to controls, none, control rig, and there's our controls. And you can see that when you just rotate this, it doesn't actually move the shoulder. So if you ever have to move the shoulder, you select that one and then it can move. Control Z out of that, and we can go back to the channel box, and we can show our avatar, and then we can come in here and make this bigger. Actually, and then we can make this controller bigger. The move tool makes this a little easier, and make that one bigger. Oops. So you can actually grab it, you know, and so you can make any of these bigger. You can change this from a circle to a sphere, and then make it bigger. You know, too big, maybe 6. Okay. If you wanted to do it that way, so you can control it. Or if you don't like the sphere, you can turn it back to a circle. I like these being spheres. Okay, and there's another controller here that I didn't recognize, I didn't see before. And it's an effector. It's not really a controller. It's just an effector. Effector. That means it's just there. Don't mess with it. Okay. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I went to bed late, so at least my voice is coming back a little bit. Okay, let's turn on the outliner again, and one last step. You know, there's a controller for the legs. One last step. You want to take this move thing here that's not controller, that's not connected to anything right now, and what you want to do is you want to click on the character, one control reference, hold down the middle mouse button after you select it. You know, move your mouse over the name, hold down the middle mouse button, and drag it onto the Move Avatar control. Now, the Move Avatar control isn't selected, even though it's rigged, so we got to select it. Now we can move our avatar around. Let's see. I want to check something real quick. Definition. Avatar foot left. Yeah, that's correct. This looks a little funny. Show the skeleton. That's that skeleton I want to see. Just wondering why it's down there. And ankle left. Avatar and ankle left. That leg just looks really weird. Let's redo those. Current character locked. Okay, we've got to unlock it. As we want to unlock it. Okay, it got rid of, when you unlock it, it gets rid of all the controls. I might have accidentally clicked on the wrong foot when I did these. So let's double click that and click that. Yes. And click that. And now come here to controls and switch it to control rig. That's normal. Oh, that's good. I mean, you know, sometimes things not quite working the way they're supposed to is a good thing, because then you get to learn as I get to learn. So now that when we see the avatar, you can see that these are now in the right spot. I had accidentally clicked on the wrong bone when I was defining the bone. I accidentally double clicked on here, and then I accidentally clicked on the wrong bone of the legs. So the legs looked a little funny, and the controls were not in where I normally have them. So now you know how to fix that. You just double click again, and it asks, you got to unlock it first. Then you go, okay, now I unlocked it, which is there is the lock. I unlocked it, and then you saw me do the rest of it. Okay, so let me just do this real quick. Just, you know. So anyway, but you saw how I did these. You know, you saw how I did those. Just click on the controller, you know, and just change them to the way you want them to be. That makes it easier for you to do it. And now we can show the avatar, and all our controllers are much, now that makes sense. And we still have that, oh, and it must have unparented, yeah, it did, it unparented the controllers from the move, so you got to do that again. And I'll click on that, and now everything is how it should be, and you can start animating. So, okay, so that's how you set up the regular avatar. If you don't have to use the bento bones in your animations, you're making just like regular walking animations or this and that, and you don't want to animate the bento bones, don't use the bento skeleton. This skeleton is much lighter, much easier to work with. You know, you export it out exactly the same way as you normally would an animation for the bento, so there's really no change in there. You know, we can, you know, all you would do is like, let's put this back to 0, is come in here to, you know, you're on frame 1, animate set key. You can either click on that and click set key, or you could pull this off and then just come up here and click set key all the time. Or I have mine set to the letter S on my keyboard. Yours is probably set to the word home, to the home key on your keyboard. Or you can open up the options and just keep clicking apply. And these are just the default settings that I've been using. There's reasons for using other settings, but you can find those out by watching the videos, other people's videos of how to animate and stuff like that. But you know, real simple animation. I'm just going to hit the S key. Right here, set key. Set key. Once you create your first key on a control, if you turn the auto key on, which is this here, and say I went to frame 24, I could pull this forward, and as soon as I let go, it's keyed. So once you get started, after you set the first key, I don't think you may not have to set the first key on, well, we'll find out. So say on frame 1, let's go to the ARM controller. And let's move it. Yeah. So you have to set the first key on a controller. You have to set the first key on the controller. After that, then the auto keys will get it. Probably because without a key, it doesn't know that it's moved. So that's why you have to set the first key on the auto keyer. So, you know, on S key on the keyboard, And if I'm going to do a loop animation on there, now I can come to frame 24 and then just move it, and now it's automatic. Lots of times what I like to do is, just so that I don't have to keep setting the first key on all of them, is either in the outliner, well, you could do it from just selecting this because everything's parented to this controller here that moves it, and just select it, hold down your right mouse, you gotta move your cursor away from the avatar so it's not on anything, and select hierarchy. And now all the controllers are selected, and if I hit the S key now, or on your computer it's probably the home key, it now just keyed on all of the controllers, and you can see there's 389 results. So that means, yeah, it did a lot of keyframes. So now when we come to frame 24, and if I want to move this one and let go, now from when I animate from now on, I can just grab stuff and rotate it and let go on a keyframe, and now that's all keyframed. And if I want to, I can do stuff like grab that controller, and you can see there's no keyframe on 48. Just coming over here on frame 1, we're on frame 1, right mouse click, you gotta select frame 1 first, then right mouse click, and come here and copy, and then click on frame 48, right mouse click, and come up here to paste, and paste. And that's how animation should be, which would have been impossible with the old control rig for MayaStar. And you can even make her, let's see, start to come forward. Well, here, can start to come forward, and she kind of jump up, I guess. And kind of 14, and you can say, well, I don't want her to come up quite that fast. So now it's right. So that's not a realistic animation, but it is an animation. Okay, and then so you want to go to export that animation. All you have to do is come here, animation tools, and now once I do the update, you'll this will say 1.5.5. I just happen to have it so that it does open up the 1.5.5. Why is this like that? That should be like that. Okay. And so you could just come here. It's already set to 1 through 48 since the last time I made an animation, and I hit apply, and now that animation has been exported out, and you can upload it to Second Life. Let's see, I will be making another video because I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter. 23 minutes, almost 25 minutes is not that short of a video. I'm going to be doing another video on how to create a shelf button so that you can access the exporter by simply clicking on a button. This is an older version of the exporter that I was working on while I was trying to fix it. And so I created a shelf button, so we'll just open up instead of me having. So anyway, so I'll show you how to make a shelf button in the next video so that you can access it very quickly by simply clicking up there to get it until the update comes out, and then you'll be able just to access it through here. So right now, as I'm making this video, this is MayaStar 5.2. So when I come out with MayaStar 5.3, or maybe it will be 5.5, depending on how much. If I do a lot of work to it, I might get 5.5. but it'll probably be 5.3. So anyway, so if you're watching this video and it's 6 months later, you probably won't have to come in and create a shelf button to access that. You'll just be able to come here to Animation Tools, Exporter, and it will say Export 1.5.5. So, and there will also be an export, a BVH export 1.5.5, and then probably the word multiple after that. That's for exporting out multiple avatars in a scene. This one is just for exporting out single avatars. And so, awesome. So, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.